Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist, where we serve you the hottest political and social commentary, fresh and undiluted. The Nigerian political space is on fire again, and this time the heat is between two political heavyweights from Anambra State, the current governor, Professor Charles Soludo, and the former governor and the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. Here is the background. At a recent rally, Governor Soludo went on a fiery rant and in the process threw a major shade, saying any politician promising to serve only one time should go for a psychiatric evaluation. Well, Peter Obi, who has been floating a one-term presidency idea, clapped back with a lengthy statement. Today, we are going to break down this entire drama. First, let us play the clip so you can hear what Soludo said in his own words. So sit back and take a watch.
There is zoning in Anambra, and that after Chukwuma Soludo as governor, the next governor after 8 years, the next governor of Anambra will go to Anambra Central. Okuya? Enyendeba, 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 enyendeba. Enyakwandeba, enyendeba, 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 enyendeba. Now, after anybody who is contesting for governorship from Anambra South is on APGA, is trying to disrupt the zoning system in Anambra. Some of them want to come to lie to us. How can anybody with brain, you think you are talking to fools? You come to people and say, I will do only one term. Anybody, any politician who said that must be sent to a psychiatric home. Because the person must have some mental problem. When the Constitution allows you to stay up to 8 years, you come and tell us, I'm going to spend one term. Tell us where it has ever happened. Who? On a column, Nkwane Kwewai. Bo. Nkwane Kwewai. Bo. Nga watching, go to Yaba. Go watching, go to Yaba. If I can anybody who is saying I'm going to do one term needs a psychiatric examination. Because you are taking everybody else to be foolish, to be a fool. Anambra, we have advanced. There are calibers and categories of people that Anambra has since gone much higher. We're not going to go back. Street urchins. Anambra has no place for street urchins. Anambra has no place for street urchins. Even those of them whose secondary school certificate are questionable. Those without school cert, they have no school cert. I tell you. Anyway, that's for another day, not today. Some of them have no school cert. They want to be governor of Anambra. They want to be governor of Anambra. Anambra of the Nnamdi Azikiwes, Akweke Nwafọ Reasons of this world, of Odumegwu Ojukwu, Alex Ekweme, Chinua Achebe. That's the state we are talking about. I am getting angry, actually. When these people say they want to be governor of Anambra, it's very annoying. With the GCE, we don't know who took it for them. Na Anambranka.
Wow, welcome back. You just heard it all for yourself. Governor Soludo did not hold back. He called a one-time promise a lie, said anyone making it must have a mental problem, and even went on to dismiss some opponents as street urchins with questionable certificate. It was a full-blown political attack. Now, in response to that psychiatric evaluation comments, Peter Obi released a statement. So let us analyze his comeback, because while it sounds noble on surface, when you look closer, some serious cracks begin to appear. Obi starts his defense by invoking historical heavyweights to justify his one-time vow. Abraham Lincoln, JF Kennedy, and Nelson Mandela is a classic move to position yourself among the greats. But let's do a quick fact check, shall we? First, he claimed Abraham Lincoln served only 4 years. This is factually incorrect. Lincoln was assassinated in April 1865, just over a month into his second term. He didn't choose to serve one term. His second term was tragically cut short. Secondly, he cites JFK, who didn't complete a full term. Again, true, but the context is key. Kennedy was assassinated during his first term and had every intention of seeking re-election in 1964. He wasn't a one-term by-choice leader. And finally, Nelson Mandela. This is the example everyone uses, but the context is completely different. Mandela served one term, yes, but he became president at 75 years old after spending 27 grueling years in prison. By the time he left office, he was almost 81. He was old, he was tired, and he had earned his rest. To compare his unique post-apartheid elder statesman situation to a politician actively campaigning for a first term in modern-day Nigeria is a massive stretch. So, the very historical foundation of his argument is built on shaky, inaccurate ground. But it gets deeper. Obi says, "My word is my bond," and asks us to trust him. But trust is earned through a consistent track record. So, let's look at his own. He is promising a single 4-year term as president, but he sought and won a second term as Anambra governor. Why didn't he walk away after 4 years then? If Anambra wasn't transformed after his first term, what gave him the confidence to stay for 8 years? This leads us to the bigger issue of broken promises. He famously said he would never leave APGA, the party that gave him his political start. He left. He vowed that under his presidency, fuel subsidy would not last one day longer. But after President Tinubu removed it, he backtracked and said he meant he would remove it gradually. If a promise captured on video can be so easily reinterpreted, how can Nigeria trust that his one-term sacrosanct vow won't have an excuse attached to it come 2031? Alright, so let's get into my critical take. Why is Peter Obi making these promises now? Why didn't he make it during the 2023 campaign? For me, it screams of political desperation and strategy. The 2027 race has unofficially begun, and his one-term vow is a shiny object designed to capture headlines and frame him as a selfless savior, different from the rest. It is a powerful narrative, but it conveniently distracts from the tough, practical questions about his candidacy. His statement is filled with grand ambition: tackle insecurity, prioritize education, healthcare, and poverty alleviation, transform Nigeria from a consuming nation into a productive one. These are things every candidate say, but where are the details? Where is the how? Notice what's missing. Infrastructure. He doesn't mention it once. How do you plan to transform a nation of over 220 million people in just 4 years without a concrete plan for road, rail, power, and housing? Does he understand that the procurement process, environmental impact assessment, and sheer bureaucracy for a single major project can take years? Furthermore, he talks about catalyzing small businesses and transforming agriculture, but his records in Anambra on this front is debatable, to say the least. If transforming these sectors in a single small state in 8 years was a challenge, what is the realistic plan to do it nationwide in 4 years? He offers no hint of a funding model or a detailed strategy. This is the core contradiction of his entire pitch. He simultaneously claimed Nigerians' problems are so deep that they need a selfless leader like him, but also that they are simple enough to be significantly resolved in just 48 months. Which one is it? If the problems are that complex, then promising a 4-year quick fix sounds either incredibly naive or desperately disingenuous. And if he couldn't completely transform Anambra in 8 years, the promise to make a monumental dent in Nigeria's system issue in 4 years feels less like a vow and more like a campaign slogan. So, there you have it, folks. On one side, we have a fairy Governor Soludo calling his opponents liars who need psychiatric help. On the other, we have Peter Obi positioning himself as a noble statesman with a sacrosanct vow. But the question remains, is Obi's one-time promise a noble sacrifice for the nation, or is it a political Hail Mary for 2027? cleverly designed to avoid the hard questions about policy and the execution. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is Peter Obi being sincere, or is this just brilliant political maneuvering? Do the factual errors in his statement about Lincoln and JFK bother you? Drop your unfiltered thoughts in the comment section below. I read every single one. Don't forget to like this video if you found it insightful. Share it with your friends and family on WhatsApp and social media. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on Oba's trending gist. This is Oba signing out. See you in the next one.